So here we are, we're looking at siblings. What I want to do is I want to access our second li tag, the one in the middle, and I want to just change its style. And I know this is terrible to use, inline styling, but this is such a simple example. I just want to keep it like this. And let's change its background color to green. Let's now go to our browser. Let's delete the previous example. Here's our assignment. We've just done it. Now we're here. And the middle item should be green. That's the one we've just styled. Let's access the console and let's clear the console. Before we start coding, I just want to emphasize here that sibling properties and methods work very similarly to the children methods we've just seen, in that some methods will traverse only element nodes, whereas other methods will actually traverse every single type of node. Okay, so we've been through this before. Shouldn't come as a surprise. But the cool thing with siblings is that it's a lot more intuitive, just the word of the method itself. So previous sibling and next sibling will return any type of node, any type of sibling. Whereas previous element sibling or next element sibling, on the other hand, of course, will return only those element siblings. So it's a lot more intuitive in that sense. Firstly, I want to ask you, how do we get to this middle item 2? How would we do that? Because what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to change the color of only item 1 and item 3 in our list. How would we do that? Well, the easiest starting point in my mind would be to access the item 2, the one in the middle, and then all we have to do is change the background color of the previous element sibling and the next element sibling. That's kind of how I'm thinking we'd go about doing this. So the starting point is to access that middle item 2, li. How would we do it? The starting point should be to actually access the unordered list, right? Because then we can start accessing its children. So firstly, let's define a variable called ul. What we want to do is we want to access the get elements by tag name. We've been through this, you know what this is. But we know that this is going to return an HTML collection, don't we? And we know our whole page, our whole document only consists of one ul tag. So we want to access the first item in this list. So here we go. Here's our ul. And if we console log that out, I can prove it to you. There it is. Makes sense. It's intuitive so far. But now how do we access the middle item? Well, if you thought we could use children, you're 100% correct, because the children only contains element items and we can see they're 3 element items. So we want to access the second one, right? The one in the middle. So all we have to do is define a variable called middle, access our ul, access the children within that ul tag, and we want the very middle item, aka the second item within that collection. So there we go. If we console log middle, we've literally got access to it right now in a variable. Awesome. Now, if we want to change that item 1, that background color, to say pink, how do we do it? Well, remember we've got different methods when it comes to siblings. We've got previous sibling and we've got previous element sibling. If we just use previous sibling, let me show you what we get. Previous sibling. The problem with that is that it returns all nodes, and it means we're actually getting returned to us the text. And in this case, the text is just a return character with a whole bunches of spaces. It's not what we want, is it? We are actually wanting the element itself. So yes, one way to do it is to do previous sibling, and then we can access again the previous sibling, and that will get us the item we need, okay? But it's cumbersome. So that's why the DOM API gives us a more intuitive approach to this. And that intuitive approach is accessing the middle variable, and it's just called the previous element sibling, okay? That's all there is to it. And of course, we can access its style property, and we can change the background color to say pink. There we go. We've just changed item 1's background color to pink. What about now item 3? Well, yes. Again, we can access next sibling. Okay, but next sibling, as you can see in the console, it's going to return the text node. So yes, we can chain it again, but it's more cumbersome. The easier way is to access our variable and then to access directly the next element sibling method. We can then access its style property, change the background color to say red. So there we have it. We've just used next sibling, next element sibling, and previous element sibling. I hope it's starting to make sense. You can see it's quite intuitive. It's not that difficult. So we've seen parents, we've seen children, we've seen siblings. I don't think you realize this, but right now you are actually becoming quite advanced at working in the DOM. A lot of people don't understand all these methods. So well done. I'm super impressed. We've done a lot, but we're not quite done. There's a lot more left in this course.